My mom demanded I give my house to my brother because single people don't need that much space. Even told me to think about your nephew. I stood my ground and said, my house stays mine. I bought my house when I was 34. Nothing fancy. 3 bedrooms, a small backyard, and a quiet street about 20 minutes outside the city. It took me years to save for the down payment. I worked overtime, skipped vacations, drove the same beat-up truck for nearly a decade, and slowly built enough money to make it happen. For the first time in my life, I had something that was completely mine. My younger brother, Jake, took a different path. He married young, had a son named Noah, and spent most of his adult life bouncing between jobs. Every few years, there was another financial emergency. A broken car, credit card debt, a failed business idea. Something always seemed to happen. My mom always stepped in. If Jake needed money, she found it. If Jake made a mistake, she excused it. If Jake missed a payment, someone else was somehow responsible. The rest of us just learned to live with it. A few months ago, Jake and his wife started having problems with their landlord. Rent had increased again, and they were struggling to keep up. I felt bad for them. I really did. Noah was a good kid. None of it was his fault. Then my mom invited me over for dinner. The second I walked in, I could tell something was off. Jake was there. His wife was there. Even my aunt was sitting at the table. Nobody mentioned why. We ate for about 20 minutes before my mom finally cleared her throat. So, she said, setting down her fork, we've been discussing a solution. I looked around. A solution to what? Jake stared at his plate. That should have been my warning. Mom smiled. Jake's housing situation. I nodded. Okay. Then she said it. You should give him your house. For a second, I honestly thought she was joking. I laughed. Nobody else did. The room stayed completely silent. I looked at Jake. He still wouldn't meet my eyes. You can't be serious. Mom folded her arms. Why not? I actually thought I misheard her. Because it's my house. You're single. I blinked. What does that have to do with anything? You don't need all that space. There it was. The same logic she'd used my entire life. Whatever Jake needed automatically mattered more than whatever belonged to anyone else. I put my fork down. So your plan is for me to give away a house I've spent years paying for? Mom sighed dramatically. When you say it like that, it sounds selfish. I laughed again. This time nobody joined me because nobody else found it funny. Jake finally spoke. We'd take good care of it. The fact that he said that nearly made me choke. Like they were discussing borrowing lawn equipment. Not my home. My aunt jumped in. Think about Noah. There it was. The guilt card. The family favorite. Mom immediately nodded. Exactly. Think about your nephew. I looked around the table. Every single person seemed to expect me to agree. Not sell it. Not rent it. Not work out some arrangement. Give it away. For free. My entire house. To my brother. I stood up. My house stays mine. The room went dead silent. Mom's expression hardened immediately. I can't believe you're choosing property over family. I grabbed my keys. And I can't believe family is asking me to hand over a house I spent years earning. Then I left. For the next few weeks, the pressure started. Phone calls, texts, messages from relatives. Everyone suddenly had an opinion. My cousin called me selfish. My aunt said I lacked compassion. One uncle asked how I would feel if Noah suffered because of my decision. Not one person offered Jake a place to stay. Not one person volunteered their own money. Apparently generosity only counted when it came from me. Then things got worse. A friend sent me screenshots from Facebook. My mom had been posting vague messages about family members who cared more about property than children. The comments were full of relatives agreeing with her. Some even mentioned me by name. That was when I stopped feeling guilty. I started feeling angry. So I gathered every record I could find. Every loan, every bailout, every check my mother had given Jake over the years. Texts, emails, bank records she'd accidentally shared. I put everything into one document. The total was over $90,000. Then, I sent it to every relative who had contacted me, along with one message. If helping family is everyone's responsibility, feel free to contribute the same amount. That was it. No insults, no arguments, just numbers. The phone calls stopped almost immediately. Funny how that worked. A few relatives apologized. Most became very quiet. Nobody mentioned my house again. Then the truth came out. Jake had recently received an insurance settlement from a car accident. Enough money for a down payment on a smaller home. He'd never told anyone. While everyone was pressuring me, he already had options. Once that information spread through the family, the sympathy disappeared. A month later, Jake bought a house. Not mine, his own. Meanwhile, family dinners happened without invitations. The guilt trips stopped. The demands stopped. The pressure stopped. My house is still mine.